Hello and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Rugby League. Today I'm joined by
Ricky,
and we're currently missing Shay, as you can see. Obviously after this weekend's tough loss for the Giants, I think Shay's still inside the Aku Stadium searching for possibly some more players to get on the field for the Giants next week.
answers and coaches.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's. Someone tells us that he might have put his name forward, but it'll remain to be seen to see who gets selected. But he's not here today, but gladly joined by Ricky, who will deliver hopefully a better insight than Shay. No, we miss him dearly, and I'm sure he'll be back on the next episode. It'd be rude not to start. We've just had some breaking news that I think Matt Shaw's released it that Brian McDermott will be coaching England at this year's World Cup. Thoughts on that?
Smart decision, really. I think they had a couple of people over here who were interested in it, but he's based down in Australia, isn't he? So he's ready for an Australian World Cup. So pretty smart decision, and he gets results. Probably one of the most successful coaches over here.
I think he is the most successful in Super League.
Yeah,
and obviously a good reputation over there now, hasn't he? He's obviously been at a couple of different clubs and been an assistant over there. He had that brief stint with Fiji, didn't he, in the that World Cup or one of the
maybe.
Whilst he were over here. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I suppose obviously that brief stint at sort of like Toronto and Featherstone kind of like, I'm not saying tarnished maybe that last little bit, but I think if it had finished at Leeds, done and then gone, I think people might look at it as a bit of a more. But he's an elite coach, isn't he? Big time as elite coach. He's got results.
There's a reason why Toronto went for him.
Yeah.
And he's probably not as tarnished than a lot of people by the Toronto escapade. But yeah, he's won trophies and he got Toronto promoted. So
he's got the whole trophy package, and he's done it over here and sort of won everything he could. Don't get me wrong, I had a stellar Leeds team, didn't he? Obviously his brief stint at Harlequins as well.
He did. It was interesting that Kevin Sinfield were on interview panel, wasn't he? And he didn't speak very highly of him.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a thing, and coming towards the end of Kev's career, he sort of like was cast aside a little bit. So I don't think he were too fond of how that finished with him. I remember him coming off the bench and playing 9, and it just didn't. It sort of like fizzled out, didn't it? We're a bit of a shame to obviously again one of them careers, but it's rugby league for you, isn't it? And
it worked for him in Endo, didn't it?
He won
everything.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, whether people thought Brad Arthur were a better choice, I think ultimately them two were the two that out of that shortlist. Who did we have for it? McNamara, Rowley, Burgess, McDermott, and Arthur. Yeah. I think most were more inclined with Brad Arthur with what's going on.
Well, he spoke pretty openly about it last week in the press conference, didn't he? After the Leeds game. So
I think that's the interesting thing. He sort of I know they did the same with Rowley as well, didn't they? And spoke to him and said, you know, like how, you know, you've applied for the job, you've been interviewed, what can you tell us? And obviously both just said they wanted the job. I think, does that mean that Brad Arthur will never be coaching England? I think so. I think
probably.
Yeah, I think that were his chance to probably coach them. As it's been spoke about, I think too early for Burgess. I think if we're going down the, you know, patriotic route, he was probably a good choice for it, but it's one of them. We did the same with Sean Wayne with that, and don't get me wrong, Sean Wayne had a few good tournament wins, didn't he? But I don't know, I think like you say, with the fact of there's no training or anything over here, they're going to be going straight over there. I think McDermott, obviously Arthur would know his way about and stuff, but I think
the thing with international players is, do you need to be an elite coach and a head coach all the time to be coaching? And those players should already be fit. They should be the best in their position for their country.
Yeah.
So actually, there's not a lot of coaching that will need to be made. It'll be more man management and motivating, and
that's it. And I don't think anyone gives us a chance to going into the World Cup,
no,
and certainly plenty of English people. I think that's what a lot of us are saying. We're looking at it thinking it couldn't be any further from a professional setup. This going into it, which this is meant to be, if they talk about it's the pinnacle of rugby league, playing for your country. Don't give a great insight, does it? Into what do the players?
It also. Even if you wanted to get a get-together, there'll be a few hurdles for him to sort out in Australia to get a get-together over here. Because he'll need to come over, maybe if they've got a Friday game maybe, but fly straight over here, have a bit of a get together Monday, Tuesday, and then fly straight back so that you can be.
I wonder. It's getting me thinking now. Do you think, because it's been spoke about, hasn't it, a lot, that there's no get together before this World Cup? The team's getting selected and they're going in, and they might have a couple of weeks before it starts to get prepped and ready for it, and they'll be into the first game or the warm-up games. Do you think that maybe they've looked at it in a sense of, if it's Brian McDermott, he's an assistant, there's a possibility that he could get some leave to come back home, start having them conversations with players. They'll be going on through Zooms and everything else, won't they, these conversations? But do you think he'll have that time then to bring everyone together and actually be able to get a squad together over here? At least it doesn't have to be, like you say, it's not going to be a training thing, is it? But getting them together, getting them meeting each other, and this is what the squad's going to look like.
He's going to need to, whoever his assistants are, you can assume they're going to be English based.
Who are we thinking for that then?
Again, you're probably looking assistant coach wise.
Well, I think given the news at Hull, which we'll come on to, I think that rules out Andy Last. I don't think he'll be one because he's interim until the end of the year. So I don't think there'll be.
I'd throw it someone like Jamie Langley's way.
Good shout. And I'm not saying he's on the verge of a headship right now.
But Leeds have got ideas of him.
I think most would say probably that he's going to be the one that's going to be coming through. And if Brad Arthur goes at the end of the year, could he take the reins?
And he's got big raps. He had a real good reputation when he was down at London. He had a real good reputation at Sale.
Yeah.
They didn't want to lose him. And then he's come to Leeds and done a great job.
I think he could be one that definitely takes over, so that might be a good step. We saw it with Ian Watson and Danny Ward have been part of the setup. Paul Wellens have been part of the setup.
Do worse bringing Danny Ward into
all these have gone on, haven't they, to be able to, if not be an interim, be a head coach at some point. Do you think it's a bit of a, when we look at the ones that haven't got it, so Brad Arthur, well, he's not going to go in and assist, is he, to McDermott? But do you think the likes of Rowley and Burgess could be looked at as coming in as, look, you've not got it on this occasion, however, we'd like you to be the assistants?
I think it's tough for a head Super League coach to go in as an assistant as an international level. I think just time constraints are going to prevent you from doing anything. So I think, and maybe ego steps in a little bit to say, I'm a head coach of St Helens, why not be an assistant coach of England or Leeds or whoever else.
It's like Burgess hasn't been an assistant coach. I'm just thinking Wellens did it.
I think
Watson was a head coach, wasn't he, when he went in as the assistant?
Salford.
Yeah, he was the head coach, wasn't he? See, Andy Last has been an assistant, obviously, all over and interim on a few occasions now. But I don't see Rowley going as, but I see Burgess potentially going in as one. But I think it could be a pride thing that would he go in as one?
You could do worse than having Burgess or a James Graham who's Australia based. Or some. You need people who can motivate people.
I think Graham's a brilliant shout to go over there. He's going to be there and thereabouts, and around the place. You know, he seems to have that. There'll be lads there that are still getting selected now that he's got some common ground with, whether that's the Saints boys or, you know, your lads. Cause say Callum Watkins gets picked again. Well, Graham's played with him before.
Yeah.
You know, everyone always speaks highly of James Graham. I think he'd be a brilliant shout to get over there. There's going to be a couple in there. They're going to be choosing a couple of assistant coaches. Be interesting to see what you guys at home think. Obviously, comment, let us know. Who do you think is going to be his backroom staff? But I think Langley's a really good shout. And I think potentially Graham, like you say. Burgess won't be a bad shout if, as you say, kind of ego prevails and, you know, he ends up taking that opportunity. I don't think it would be a bad thing for the RFL to turn around and say, look, you've not got it on this occasion. Surely they're getting feedback. You'd think what's Arthur's feedback would be, well, what's happening sort of afterwards. McNamara would be, he's got the job at Hull. Are you going to be focused on that? That to me, that the McNamara one just never made sense. If he's going in at Hull, surely Hull are not going to be happy about him being away for that length of time.
That might have been something that's happened in the last month.
Yeah.
So
interesting. I think
the interview process.
When you look at it now, I don't think there can be anyone aggrieved at picking McDermott.
I don't think so. I think McDermott was always a front runner for it anyway, wasn't he? He was up there.
It always seemed like Arthur looked like I don't know if it was more the media noise and what things were being said there, but And as well, like you say, that interview over the weekend, I know Leeds had a good win, and they sort of had that interview with Arthur, and it kind of looked a little bit like almost you've had it, we're waiting for the announcement for you to get it. And we knew it had come this week.
And the way he spoke really confidently.
Yeah, it's most I've seen him smile. As though he felt like he was going to get the job. I think it'll be really interesting because
unless Matt Shaw's pulled the wool over all his eyes and it actually is Brad Arthur.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But yeah, and then we would look daft. So hopefully, McDermott is officially announced maybe by the time this goes out. But yeah, I think
it's St George's Day this week, isn't it? So that might be what the way.
Right, yeah, possibly. It makes sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think Leeds fans will be pleased with that, I think. I think they would sooner Brad Arthur just be focused on the job at hand. Obviously, a good win for them this weekend. Saints fans, I think they'll be pleased with Rowley not getting it. I think there'll be a few that
there'll be a few will be quite pleased at the.
I think it's just one of those where you look at it from a selfish perspective as a fan, and you think, will that coach, as professional as they are, you haven't got very long. So if you're going right through to the grand final, like Saints or Leeds could have been, they could have been looking at, how much time is going to be spent during that week.
I think it takes time out of your pre-season as well.
But it's got to do. Yeah. That's why the McNamara one just didn't add up.
If, for example, England do well and get through to semi-finals and finals, that's when teams will start coming back for pre-season.
Yeah.
So then you're starting pre-season without your head coach because he's...
Yeah. And that's what they said with the Matt Peet, didn't they? With Matt Peet, when, why has he not gone for it? Maybe he's just thought, you know what? I actually need some time with my family as well. It's a long season.
You need holidays as well.
We'll come on to Matt Peet today as well in this podcast because a few arrows are going his way, I think, at the minute.
A few boos yesterday.
The winners. Yeah, a lot of boos. And I think we'll come on to it. But yeah, step by step, we'll quickly whiz through some of the fixtures. Saints and Hull. I thought it was a pretty good tussle, to be fair. We sort of said it would a flip of a coin, I think, with that one. I think the emotion from Hull and that night, it were clearly going to be Cartwright's last game. The players obviously looked they were...
He's still an employee though, isn't he?
Yeah, which is it's just a strange one, isn't it? Yeah. And obviously, he's on the books, you're getting paid till the end of the season, basically. But how that works, I don't know. Is it effectively like a gardening leave? He's off and then could he go? Obviously, there are a couple of vacant jobs now. Obviously,
there were a few rumours this weekend in France about him.
Yeah,
Catalan,
which wouldn't be a bad shout at all. Obviously, Huddersfield still on the look for their coach, but he's effectively still an employee of the club. Yeah. So, however that makes it sounds, but I think the interesting thing was during that game, Myler comes on the screen.
Yeah,
the crowd's booing. Wow. Cartwright's on the screen. The crowd are kind of overjoyed that and giving him that support, which. It's nice for Cartwright. You tend to not see stuff like that, and especially it were a really strange way of going about things. And I think something's obviously come out in the media quicker than what Hull wanted it to.
Yeah,
he's ended up seeing out that last game. The players knew, and and the players have kind of stood with him. And they didn't get the win, but as soon as I heard that sort of noise coming from the Hull camp during the week, I thought it could be a tough did this for Saints because it kind of the stars align really.
It was really telling that pretty much every Hull player waited out on the pitch for him to finish his interviews and whatnot before they followed him back down the tunnel.
Where does this leave Hull then? Because Andy Laster's come in. He's been the interim of a number of different clubs now. He's done it at Hull before. He's done it. I'm sure he's done it. Did he do it at Catalan?
Cass as well.
Cass? I don't know. Is it another write-off year? Effectively, to me, it looks like Hull are sat there just waiting for next year again now.
Yeah. And they've been like that for the last 2 or 3 years.
Year after year. After year, they've done that. Whether it's injuries,
And they're a proud club. I mean, you look at how many season tickets they've got and how many memberships they've got. They're over 10,000 every week.
And they seem far away from Hull KR at the minute, which... I think it makes it 10 times worse for them because of how well Hull KR have done in recent times.
I mean, it's a divided city at best of times, but Hull KR fans will be rubbing their hands together and laughing at the black and whites.
Well, it is, isn't it? All them years, and I'm sure that, the black and whites had their fair share, aren't they, laughing at them? But at the minute, the Robins are just, and obviously they're picking up a little bit of momentum at the moment. But that Hull FC team just look a complete...
If you're the ownership team at Hull FC, though, are you looking at how that club is being perceived and how that club is being run, and you're thinking there's some questions to be asked here.
Well, I think there are. Yeah, I think there's a lot. I don't know. I think you've got players there. Again, there's probably some players that I think they've tried to do the right thing. They've brought through some more youth, haven't they? Some local lads going down that right line, but they just don't seem to. And the star quality, a lot of the places where they've put the money in are not on the field for long enough. And it's just ultimately the Cartwright's paid the price in the end, so you're still getting.
And you've got a question: who's in charge of recruitment?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes we hear it, don't we? That sometimes some of these coaches are not even picking the team.
No.
So
no,
I don't know with Hull. I think it could be a long season for them. They didn't look bad the other night, to be honest. I thought Saints. They never looked like, even when Hull scored first, I don't think Saints ever looked like they weren't going to win.
They always looked like they were going to win, but they also, Hull were always there and thereabouts, but they never looked like they were ever going to.
I think that was the thing. As soon as Saints went, I think as long as it were a try in it, either team technically could have won. I think as soon as Saints went 2 tries in front, I think that were the game over for Hull at that point.
Tristan Saylor pulling out the bag.
Yeah, I mean, there were a bit of a brain explosion at one point from him, but again, he's probably been their best player this year. I thought Jackson Hastings played really well. Just he was playing in a dinner suit that day. He controlled the game really well. Daz Clark's rolling back the years. He's looking really good out of 9. And again, it's just showing with Saints, they're bringing through the youth. They had a lad, Davies, in the back row. Played, I'm sure he did 80 minutes in the back row. Scored again, second week in a row. Did the same with Catalan the week before, and it just shows they seem to keep having players that they're pulling through. And I think the difference with those at the moment is, compared to Wigan, is the young lads that are coming in are really stepping up. But in credit to Wellens, he brought some of these through last year and had a lot of game time when they were getting a lot of flack then, so they're almost a bit of a year ahead. So we see how it goes with these cycles, and obviously there's some big fixtures coming up, including that sort of face-off again with Wigan and Saints, so it'll be interesting. I think it probably quite fitting to fast forward straight to that Wigan game from yesterday, Wigan and Cass. We called it and said there could be an upset.
Yeah.
And
I didn't.
I think it'd be interesting to see what the stat was, but I reckon 90% of people would have said Wigan.
Yeah.
They were at home. Cass have not looked good at all at any point. I wouldn't say that's the best they've played yesterday. Maybe they've just got a thing with Wigan, and I'm sure they've took the fair share of beatings before, but they weren't far away at the start of the season when they played them. Cass would due. They had to have a good game eventually, didn't they?
They did, but and I know it comes down to injuries and people missing and whatnot, but for me, Wigan, Jai Field don't look fit.
No, I thought that. I thought that ever since the Saints game when he came back in the derby. He don't kick return. He hands the ball over. And I know he's done that a lot of the time in the past, but the grounds are getting a bit firmer now. It's not like he's playing on boggy fields still. I can understand him handing it over in that case and just getting some quick yardage. But as you say, he looks a yard off pace. I'm not saying he looks overweight, but he definitely doesn't look as elusive as what he did. But we've seen before, injuries happen and it takes it out of players.
Of course it does.
But it's the same thing. The same stats come up. And they're getting worse and worse now. They've lost, 3 in a row now, is it?
Yeah.
I know they won the cup game, but, they were nearly knocked out of the cup. They were quite fortunate, really, to go through on that, as we discussed last week. But they're just, with them two not playing, and let's be honest, they're not the defenders.
Yeah.
But, again, conceding, 24 points? 4 tries, is it? Yeah, that's, I'm sure, an average in the last 4 to 5 games have conceded 28 points on average.
And he missed a couple of goals as well, Cass kicker.
So yeah, I think there'll be a bit of soul searching going on at Wigan right now, and their fixtures don't get any easier. They really don't. They go to Warrington this week. They've got obviously Saints in the cup to play. I'm sure they've got Hull KR in that batch of fixtures as well.
Leeds as well.
They've got Leeds in that. They've got some really tricky fixtures. I'm sure I were looking before their next 10 fixtures, including obviously the cup.
Catalan in Paris.
We've got Catalan game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We could take it out of them.
We said it before at the start of the season. Is will Matt Peet be under pressure? They won nothing last year.
No.
That club's expected to win stuff.
Yeah, it is.
As they said before with Sean Wayne, has he got some credit in the bank?
I think he has got credit in the bank, though, hasn't he?
The question
he
is,
won everything the year before.
who do they get?
Exactly. And for me, there's just a massive shortage of head coach material at the minute. It's like Hull. I'm pretty sure that if someone had been available, then they would have.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been left till next year, would it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been shocked if they tried to get McNamara, really,
Oh.
to be honest. And Warrington have dug their heels and said, no, that's not happening. Because, as we've spoke about before, was McNamara actually part of Warrington's succession plan? I think they've come out, because it was a mutual thing, wasn't it? What they've said, and Warrington and Hull FC announced that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was an interesting one that I sort of got the impression that Warrington probably weren't best pleased with that, but it's one of them, innit?
I think he's always had his eye on that job.
I think so. I think that's always been coming, hasn't it? Yeah, but take note away from Cass, a fantastic win.
Really
One
good.
for history books for them, really, to get a win over there. And I looked at the Cass team, and again, like, it just looks like a poor team to me. And
I can't say his name, but that left centre was
fantastic. He's probably, I think he won it at Newcastle. I think he might have been at Newcastle.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably be having it. He's only young, so they'll be having a look at him and thinking, could we get him back?
Yeah.
But that was probably his goal, wasn't it? Come over there, do well over here, and possibly get a chance. Or we see it happen, don't we? Players come over, play for your clubs, Cass, Salford back then, other clubs like that, and then the bigger clubs in Super League seem to pick them up. You're going to have like Leeds looking for a centre, so these teams are going to be keeping their eyes out.
They might be looking for one now rather than...
Possibly, yeah. What did you think to that one, Newman, going over to
strange
FC?
one, isn't it? There's lots of rumours about him falling out with Arthur over being dropped and whatnot. It's a strange one. If the rumours are right, and if he's come out and had a falling out over being dropped, if his performances haven't been top notch, then Arthur's got credit in the bank. Arthur's got the fans backing, hasn't he? So there's only going to be one winner. And if he's sending him out,
I think
I don't know if he's gone again this week.
Well, it said 1 week, didn't it? Yeah. I don't think anything's been said. I haven't seen anything on Hull's social media or anything. But
they were looking. He left the door open, didn't he?
Yeah.
For him to go again.
Well, from what I saw, from what Leeds fans were commenting, I think they were pretty happy to just see him go, to be honest. They've obviously got some cover in them areas. Players been able to play there, and like you got the likes of Hankinson and stuff that's turning up and playing. Arthur seems to like him. He's obviously got good value in utility, Annie Hankinson. Always has, even from kind of Salford, Wigan.
Can kick a goal.
He's been exactly that. He's probably, although not the most glamorous player, he seems to be able to play.
Every club needs a player like him, though.
I would say he could play every position bar prop.
Yeah.
He's played in the back row, he's played at 7, 6, centre, full back, wing. A pretty astute signing last year for them, I thought, in what was obviously the downfall of Salford. But an interesting one. That'd be interesting to see if he ends up back there. He put himself about, obviously came off, I think he'd broken nose, and again the petulance just seemed to be there again. It was the same stuff, wasn't it? Moaning at the ref, touch judge, pushing and shoving. More bothered about all that stuff instead of just playing the game. There's no doubt.
Grubby behaviour, though, isn't it?
There's no doubt in his, and as an athlete, he's unbelievable, isn't he? How he moves.
Well, there's a reason why he's leaving Leeds at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly that. He'll be going over there for if he want any good.
Is that part of it? Is the fact that he's signed for an NRL team a bit of an ego thing to say?
Possibly, yeah. I should be playing. I don't know. Who knows? Could look at it two ways. At least he wants to play, and he's he's not happy just sat there taking his money and sitting on the sideline. But yeah, I think
Leeds didn't miss him though, did they? No, they did for 120 seconds.
Put it this way, he won't be coming back in and playing this weekend, will he? So Toulouse obviously took a pasting by KR. We couldn't see anything other than a KR winning this one, to be fair. But
I think they're struggling on a few troops now, aren't they?
I think so. I think that was the issue going into campaign, wasn't it? Struggling on troops and what the backup were going to be. Few injuries. KR, I'm not saying they're absolutely firing, but I suppose quietly going about business and picking up a few wins, getting back up the table. Be interesting when KR play the likes of your Wigans, Warrington, Leeds, Saints away, play teams like that. And how they'll go in the cup as well. So that's a tough game they've drawn with Warrington because I know Warrington got beat, but I don't think anyone would want to play Warrington either at the minute. So
they're just building a bit of momentum out there at the minute, which is good for them.
And Lee picking up their first win of the campaign. Second win of the campaign, but first one in a while. We said that they had to win this one. I don't think it was one to write home about, but again, similar to Toulouse, York are just struggling with troops, aren't they? Interestingly, all 3 teams took a loss, Bradford included, this weekend. So, yeah, I think for Lee, it was a must win.
It's for me, the intensity of playing Super League week in, week out is probably starting to catch up with all 3 teams, because there's a lot of players who played Championship for them teams still in there.
I think this is where some, like, the loan system needs to be used for teams like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're all going to have a week off in the Cup out there in a few weeks, which will help. But the games come thick and fast, don't they? So you're sort of looking at it now. More so York, I'm looking at it, and not so much Toulouse. Toulouse have always got this kind of like, they could do something at home, catch some teams cold. But I'm looking at York thinking, I don't know where their wins come from anytime soon.
I think their wins now probably look to your home games against Bradford, against you.
Yeah. They're you must win games.
Probably targeting your home games against Cass, against Bradford, against Toulouse, against even a Catalan. Yeah. Catalans haven't travelled well yet.
Yeah.
So you're targeting them games and not necessarily your big games.
Your bigger games, yeah. Well, as we know, they go in blocks, don't they? And I'm sure there'll be a point in the season where they see a few fixtures where they're winnable, whether it be Cass at home, Bradford away, whatever, Toulouse at home, something like that. And they're going to be important, obviously, come the end of the season. It's not, I suppose, the games when they're playing.
But York would have been disappointed not beating Lyon.
I think so. I think it's how we spoke about Cass. They had to win at some point. Yeah. They're not going to go all season not winning it. Same with the Giants a few weeks ago. Someone's going to end up losing to them. They're still a professional outfit. They don't go. Have we ever seen a team go through the season without picking up wins? Like they do at some, even when London in the hardest of times for them, still picked up a couple of wins. They had that shocking season. Remember when James Howard came in years ago, and they still managed to pick up some wins. And they do it. You catch them cold, and you're not on your game.
Yeah,
you're going to get beat, aren't you? But yeah, I think they will be disappointed with that one. Obviously, we've touched on Rhinos. Obviously, a big win for them. I think the disappointing thing is they still conceded 20-odd points against a poor Giants outfit that day. Giants players back, good players as well. 18th man.
I think you get your new coach bounce, don't you, a little bit, and it tends to go a little bit, and then there's a few hard conversations that come out from an assistant coach, and the assistant coach quickly goes from being your best mate to being the bloke. Oh, he's dropped me now.
Yeah, exactly that.
So actually,
changes, doesn't it?
It changes that dynamic between players and coaches. So, but Leeds are good. Leeds are good this year.
There's a lot talking about how good they are. Do you see them? I see them as a huge improvement on recent seasons. Do I put them in that same bracket as Hull KR? We're going to play in poorly. Probably I'd just say Hull KR at the minute. Do I see Leeds up there with them? I don't know. I just feel like, similar to that Challenge Cup game earlier in the year, can they do it in the big games?
Vegas was a big game, though.
It was a big game. I'll give you that.
So Vegas was a
big game. KR had a massive game the week before. I still think KR just weren't. It was just such bad organisation that, and I know it wasn't their fault, but I think if Hull KR at the time again, they wouldn't have been going to that. If Hull KR knew they were playing in the World Cup Challenge the week before, they wouldn't have been going to Vegas.
No, or the World Cup Challenge would have been a different week.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But you can't take anything away from Leeds and how they're playing at the minute. I will say they've got players, they've got troops. A lot of teams are struggling. There might come a point in the season where injuries play a part in Leeds' season, but obviously
when Brodie Croft runs the ball like he has been doing the last couple of weeks,
he runs a line like a back rower, doesn't he?
I'm not sure there's a better halfback in the camp.
Well, what's he on now? He's up there with, I think he's joint with Sebo. Oh, he's not far off Sebo, is he? He's in double figures for tries, which isn't bad for an halfback.
Yeah.
I said at the start of the season, even when I went on one of the other podcast, the Giant Rugby League show, I said Brodie Croft, I felt like could be up there for Man of Steel, definitely for the dream team.
You know what though?
He would do a good season. He had to have a good season for me. He's in third season now, I think, at Leeds, 3.5 maybe. There's this hearsay rumour potentially going back to the NRL. If he's going back, the time's now probably for him to be going back.
He's not been as widely recognised as what he was last year, but Jake Conor pulls a lot of them strings as well.
Yeah,
Quietly.
but I think he's took a little bit of a backseat. Yeah. Credit to him.
But you don't need to be front and centre all the time, especially when Croft is playing.
Yeah, he's been playing out his skin recently, so probably, like you say, he's up there with one of the form halves in the comp. Wakefield, obviously, a big win against Bradford. We spoke about Bradford, obviously, again, another team down on troops. Wakefield, just, again, it's not often. In years gone by, we haven't seen Wakey putting 50 on teams, have we? They're consistent
at the minute, aren't they? They're putting in performances. Yeah. And nothing changes, even though they lost to Wigan in Cup. Nothing changes. It's still the same process. It's still the same game plan. Let's go at them.
Well, that's a huge response in it, because to lose the cup game, it takes a lot out of you, losing that cup match. And again, it's not just the manner of it wasn't an issue, was it? If they had not had a man sin bin, potentially they go away and win that game. So I think they were really disappointed in defeat. I think in that game, and on another day would have won that match. And a lot of the time you can't call them games. It's either you've won or you've lost. And I think on another day they'd have won that. Whereas bouncing back and we saw they lost to Toulouse earlier in the year. To put 50 on Bradford at home, and we've seen Bradford, they're no mugs. They can really pull teams apart, and I think 50 points that's a big scoreline.
It's a big
if they'd have won by 14-12, you'd have still said, well, they've got the win. But I think 50 dominant performance like that, 50 is, they'll be pleased with that, really pleased with it, and obviously taking that forward into this week, which we'll come on to. We've had a lot of obviously comments online about RTS and where he's going to be playing. Shea obviously spoke adamantly about thinking he's going to be in the centre. I think he's coming to play fullback. Still discussions on Jowett. Where's he going to end up? What's he going to be doing? Is he going to sit it out at Wakefield? Does he move elsewhere? Does he... Obviously, Josh Rourke's playing well at the moment. He's one of their form players. Does he get a bit more of a gig there? And is Jowett? Can they send Jowett out on loan? Could they?
I think they do. I think he fits in with a York. I think potentially, yeah.
York needs some players.
He fits into a York, and it probably fits into their business model that they're not going to sign people on massive contracts. York.
They could come to some agreement where they're paying part of his Wakefield contract. Obviously he's not going to go anywhere else. No one's daft enough to leave a contract for the sake of not getting paid for it. I think he could end up at York before the season's out.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I know he's been at Wakefield a long time and a fantastic cert. I think he's in their top 3 for point scorers now.
Didn't he break the record as well a couple of years ago for most?
Yeah, he did. Obviously in that championship season, he's a fantastic player. No doubt in it. It's just where does he fit in? And York seems like. If he needs to be playing Super League, he's too good for the Championship. Yeah, needs to be playing Super League, and if he's in and out of a team, and we're looking ahead to next season, I think RTS is coming to play fullback for me. Rumours Cam Scott's going. They've signed McCormack from Leeds. I don't think he's a shoe-in for centre. I think he's just a good backup in this case, and maybe something for the future. But yeah, I think Jowett could find his way out, possibly over to York before. Well, I'd say in the next few weeks. So. I won't be shocked with that. A big one on Saturday, last one of this week, and what we'll come on to, but Catalan, a massive statement, turning Warrington over. I would say I'm not shocked by it, but yeah, Warrington looked, to concede nearly 40 points, I thought Warrington looked a very different team, but again, take nothing away from Catalan.
Yeah, come back from 10-0 down, 16-10 down as well. Big effort that, but sin binning's had a big impact on the game. That first Catalan sin bin, Warrington scored 10 points, and then second sin bin for Matty Ashton. So Catalan scored 10 points just before half time to level it up. So they had a big impact on it. But the second half, Catalan just came out and blitzed them.
Did it say more about Catalan or more about Warrington?
I think probably a little bit about both. I mean, Burgess come out in the press conference afterwards and said that Catalan's had probably got a new coach bound, but they've been playing without him for the last 3 weeks.
I say.
So it's not really that much of
Yeah.
a bounce.
It's not like someone's turned up in the
Yeah.
middle of the week and given him a morale boost. It's
Yeah.
been the same, like I say, for the last few weeks.
So, and the owner's come out in the press and done an interview with one of the radio stations to say I've been in to see all the players and whatnot. So Bernard's probably been waving his
Right.
machete around
Yeah.
a bit, a butcher's cleaver. But yeah, I think it were a real good one. Solomona for Tappy was unbelievable.
Yes, he was. He was fantastic, and he's another player. When we talk about the lad at Cass, and again, is it Massa?
Yeah.
We're not able to try to attempt to say the name, but which is I feel quite rude actually by not being able to pronounce it properly. So we'll get that sorted for next time. But what a fantastic player he is at Cass, and the same obviously with the Catalan centre. I mean, some of them hits as well.
Unbelievable!
They're game changers, aren't they?
Yeah,
they really are game changers.
Put one in on
Fuelless,
on the wing,
yeah,
and it was just like,
He looks. I thought he looked really, really good all year. To be honest, he carries the ball really well. He's a threat, isn't he? He's a threat with the ball. He reminds me. I'm not comparing him to.
He always gets his hands away.
I'm not comparing him to Conor Durrell, but he reminds me a lot of how he played the game, in his prime over here. And, you don't want him running straight at you for one, but the footwork as well.
He's got great feet.
Yeah, the defence, he's throwing in some bell ringers there. So, another fantastic pickup there. Catalan will do well to keep hold of him. I think we've seen it before, haven't we, with Catalan players going for a year and then heading over somewhere else. So hopefully it's not a pit stop for them. But yeah, some more news breaking out today. Ex-Catalan player, only for a short term. I don't know if you've seen, is it Pangai Jr.?
No, I've seen.
He's ended up over at Hull KR.
Has he?
Yeah, immediate.
He was...
Which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
He's devastating with the ball in hand, but...
He was devastating with the ball in hand.
He's then finished the day.
That year at Catalan, he was, dare I say it, bang average.
Yeah.
Bang average.
On a lot of money.
Massive money. He was on marquee money.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't play for half a season.
So why have Hull KR gone in for it? There were rumours obviously going around that he was circulating.
Did he go and sign for Warrington and Warrington reneged on the deal?
That's right. He'd signed at Warrington and then something happened and he's pulled out the deal. And it would almost like I think he'd just stopped.
Yeah.
And then next minute he's over at Hull KR.
I mean, he's a big unit and he's tough to stop, but getting him fit is going to be a big thing if he's not been doing any training, and getting him to put in the performances that we saw in Australia for Tonga.
Yeah.
That's where he needs to be. That's where he needs to be back.
It's a strange one for KR because do they need
him, and does it upset the squad?
How I'm looking at it, I'm thinking you've got,
because where's he coming into play? Is he coming into play at prop? In which case he puts some people's noses out of joint. He's not playing 13 over Minachella.
Well, that's it. So he ain't going to be playing 13. I know he played a lot of back row, so he could be going in back row. But they've got Adley, Reece Martin,
but the size of him when he was at
James Batchelor.
Yeah, Joe playing back.
James. Joe's the female age.
He's got to be playing front row.
So I think he's either coming on for front row. It's just a bit of devastation, 25 minutes a game, something like that. Because then I'm looking at if he was available.
With limited subs, can you afford to carry someone who's only going to play 25 minutes a game?
Not in this.
Because
you've even seen now, aren't you?
Look how quick the rucks are.
Yeah. Players are doing bigger minutes. I know I've seen a few backs recently. A lot of teams are carrying a back on the bench, aren't they? Or a play like a hooker maybe that's not getting as many minutes. You're looking at talking of hookers at Wakefield. You think like you've got Tyson Smoothy. Harvey Smith needs game time for me. He should be out there. And I think there were interest from Saints at one point trying to get him on loan. And I think Wakefield having none of it. They don't want him going out on loan. But he's getting game time and he's playing with he'll be in the team every week. But surely he's wanting more minutes. And Tyson Smoothy's not come over to just play for another 6 months, surely. Because Wakefield look like they're going somewhere at the minute. So he's clearly wanting to take them through. But
not only do Wakefield look like they're going somewhere, but they've got plans to go even further next year and beyond.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting how it goes, of some movement, of some breaking news there with Pangai Jr., but Warrington fans must be just in disbelief at what this guy's playing at. Catalan fans will be thinking, well, I don't know why you bothered.
I think
Hull KR fans could be excited by it.
Catalans were really happy to get him off the salary cap.
Well, I'm not surprised. Well, you didn't do much for him, did you?
Given how few minutes he played,
Yeah.
they were really happy to get him off.
To see the back of him. So, well, we'll touch on quickly just obviously the fixtures coming up to bring it to a close. But Thursday night games, we've got a couple this week. Lee at home to the Giants. Can't see this one being a classic, but two teams again. What we're talking about.
Is it good? There's another game on at the same time.
I think it might be. Is it good that it's York v Toulouse? Sure. So yeah, I think Thursday night might be a time to take your missus out for a meal. And,
Premier League darts.
Yeah, get away with it. So you're not going to bother with a rugby tonight and head over and watch either something else or take your missus out for some nice food. But yeah, Lee and Huddersfield. What we will say is two teams that both on 4 points now, aren't they? Yeah. So kind of. I suppose it's a bit. Whoever picks up a win there, it's a big one. Yeah.
I mean, Huddersfield have shortlisted now, haven't they?
Who they've thrown in for that then?
I don't think they've announced who they've shortlisted.
They obviously know.
Ralph had a real good interview.
Right.
It's interesting, wasn't it? Ralph had a real good interview the other day on Sky saying that they've narrowed it down now, so they've got a real good shortlist of outstanding.
As we said before, though, who's interested in that job?
Honestly.
I actually don't know who would be interested in that job.
It's a real tough gig wherever to go.
I think so.
And in terms of the organisation and the structure and whatnot, there's a lot of change needs to go on.
And they're another one it's a write-off year, isn't it, again? For someone to come in, they're going to have to give someone the appetite to actually be drawn to that role. They're going to have said to them, look, do your best this year.
Yeah.
Do your best with what we've got. Build into next year. We're building for 2027. You know, obviously the facilities are obviously improving, but as we've seen in the NRL with St George today, obviously getting rid of Shane Flanagan, facilities they've got state of the art. It means nothing.
Where are they playing next year?
Well, this is it. We still don't know, do we? And they need out of that stadium.
Are we going to be Huddersfield? Are we going to be Halifax? What?
I think there's a lot of change, isn't there? And I think as a coach coming in, it's either a coach where it's an assistant that feels like it's a free hit and it's going to be a good experience for him as an head coach with very little pressure. So it makes you wonder as the likes of Jamie Langley put in for it.
But then you've got to question the
Eamon O'Carroll.
Yeah. Well, there was talk of Eamon going to Catalan because he'd been at Catalan.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Yeah.
But you've got to question, for me, you've got to question the coach who is an assistant coach somewhere. And yes, it's a head coaching role, but do you not envisage yourself being a head coach at the club you're already at?
Well, this is it. And something said obviously with O'Carroll, Breers doesn't want the head coach's gig, allegedly. Rowley, allegedly, it's been said he wants to be in a director of rugby role as opposed to a head coach role. Does that open it up to O'Carroll? But I don't know. There's people like that or coaches like that who are well thought of. Obviously, O'Carroll's been in a head coach's gig before and done really well at Bradford and well thought of.
What does that mean, wanting to be a director of rugby role?
I don't know. Does it suggest that maybe they don't want the pressure of a head coach's role? I mean, but pressure comes with director of rugby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
What does that role involve? Is it something to say, well, I've got a job and
you'll end up in the interim if whatever happens. So yeah, I think the likes for a shortlist for that role, I think they're looking at potentially O'Carroll being one of them, Jamie Langley being one of them, possibly a couple of NRL assistants. Maybe
I'd be surprised if Langley had applied for it.
I think so, given that potentially his route is fast tracking to the head coach.
Well, they find out on 1st of June whether Arthur's staying another year or not, don't they?
See, but what is that about? What is that about? Like, you're either going or you're staying.
Yeah.
Like, if I were a Leeds fan, I'd be absolutely livid. I'd be just thinking, like, we're in the same position. They're playing well now. Are we going to get to May, June time? It's the same thing. What's happening? Lose a few games, win a couple. I think it just derails. It's got to derail the team. It needs sorting sooner or later, and it's either he's leaving and we're going to win it for him and win it with him and go out on a high or win something, or he stays and we build into it. Yeah. I don't know. Like, he's loved it. I get his family's from over there and all the rest of it.
But most of his family's here now.
Yeah, this is the thing. So you look at
him. So the only thing dragging him back now is his own career prospects
of wanting to go back,
of getting a gig over there.
But more and more more and more coaching gigs are coming up there, aren't there? You said the St George gigs coming up, the Manly gigs not secure yet. The Titans' gig's always up for grabs pretty much. You know, how long's Bennett going to be about for? You know, there's plenty of roles there that seem to be coming up. Is Seabold one of them that's maybe been thrown into the Catalan or the Huddersfield mix? It's a coaching role. Who knows? You've got the likes of, sounds daft, but people like Paul Deacon going back to Wigan.
Yeah.
So he's spoken in an interview. He's gone there as not as an assistant coach, but he's the first tackle and last tackle coach at Wigan. Can you afford to keep coaches like that? I'm sure he's not going to be on peanuts.
If any club can, it's Wigan. But
I think that I would not be shocked if Paul Deacon's in that shortlist.
Yeah.
To come back, he's come back in. He's been a head coach over in Rugby Union for a long time. I won't be shocked if Paul Deacon's one of them potentially.
I think you'll get people like Sean Long throwing the names in as well.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe a Leon Price. I know he's coaching Beyond.
He's at Valkyrie at the moment. Yeah, I think he might stay away from that one, but yeah, there's a few in there. There's the likes of like Ben Hornby and stuff in the NRL, which probably a due head coach's gig at some point. Cartwright, yeah. I think there's a fair few for the gig, but I think Huddersfield have to write off the year, wouldn't they? But who are we going for? Lee or Giants? I'm going to go Lee at home. Lee at home in that one for me. Yeah. York and Toulouse, same night. We spoke about these are must-win games for them. I'm going to go York. Yeah, I think it'll be a tough game that for Toulouse. Travel away Thursday night. I'm going to go York with that one. And York, in previous times in this season, have gone quite well on a Thursday night.
Yes.
So potentially a win for them on Thursday night. Warrington and Wigan. I'm going Warrington on this one.
I think so.
I think it could be a fourth loss in a row for Wigan here.
You'll get a bit of a reaction as well after Perpignan.
Yeah.
I think Wigan, they're just down on troops.
Yeah, they've done well at home.
Troops and Field struggling a little bit.
When was the last time Wigan lost 4 in a row?
Well, that year when Noble went
back some time,
when Noble went in. Millward started him really badly, didn't he?
Yeah, Agent Millward.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm going to go Warrington on that one.
Yeah.
And I won't be shocked if it's convincing as well.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's.
I think it could be again. They've been conceding 28 points.
With the greatest respect in the world, but if Cass have gone and scored 20 odd points on them
at Wigan,
yeah,
I think the fighting Warrington team at home could quite easily put 40 on them. Which is crazy to think we're saying that about Wigan. Again, on Friday, we've got Castleford at home to Hull. Could be a good game, that.
That could be a good game. New manager bounce?
I think for Cass to pick up a bit of momentum here, I think that's a good game to get at home.
Think so.
They're like a derby out there for them, Cass and Hull.
Cass always go well against Hull as well at the Jungle.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
They do seem to. The One Stadium.
The
Womble Stadium.
There you go.
I'm gonna go Cass at home for this. I don't think I saw enough from Hull. I think they had a bit of spirit, but I think Andy Last, he's been interim at a few clubs now, and nothing seems to change. I don't think there's that firing. He's probably steady as shit, but I don't think anything changes.
Yeah, I think Cass should be able to build on what they did against Wigan.
I'm gonna go with a Cass win there. Interesting game. Catalan away at Leeds on Friday night.
Catalans haven't travelled well this year, have they?
They haven't travelled well. Catalan again have always seemed to somehow get a performance away at Headingley.
You think
they've had a few. I seem to remember a few where they've had it. A few times where
them early years
win there.
They took some thumpings. I think it took them 14 years to get a win there.
Must be in recent years then.
Yeah, it took them.
There's one in particular. I feel like they were in rain. Like, I just feel like it were raining, and somehow, which you wouldn't associate Catalan winning that, but I'm gonna go a Catalan win here.
No,
I'm gonna go a Catalan win.
As much as it pains me, and as much I'll probably get.
I think Leeds are they're consistently inconsistent.
I fancy Leeds at Headingley.
I'm gonna go Catalan. I think it'll be a really close game, but that's a big win for Catalan. I know they haven't travelled well. I think Lewis Dodd is getting some swagger about him again. He'll love that getting over. Yeah, it's not often you score that, is it, against Warrington? He'll have been. I mean, that try he scored, what were the players doing? Just watched it. Someone
passed it to him.
Passed it, and someone said,
obviously
it was exactly the same as that Lockyer one, wasn't it, in State of Origin, but someone put something saying like the controller went dead.
Yeah.
The players just stood there.
Yeah.
And fair play to Williams, who are only one that trapped back.
But joking aside, they stopped that try and then they score again a couple of minutes later. Actually, it wasn't too far away from to get back into the game, was it?
Yeah, strange one, that. A really odd one. But yeah, maybe a Catalan upset, I think, for that one. Bradford at home to OKR. What I would say is...
Bradford at Bradford. I've said it loads.
Yeah.
Bradford at Bradford. They will shock some teams.
I think they've had a thumping last week. They're not going to... I don't think OKR will beat them by that. Again, OKR, when was last time they've travelled to a ground like that?
What's wrong with Odsal?
What's right with Odsal?
Wembley the North.
However, I've just seen that Kieran Palacier at Leeds say that's the best ground that he's played at.
There you go.
Said he loved it.
There you go.
Obviously, Leeds come out on right side at win.
Yeah.
If he'd have come out on a loss, would he have been saying that? I'm not sure, but I think OKR win. But I think it's a close game.
Close.
I think a close game here. Could be a good game, that Saturday afternoon fixture.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bradford need a response. So I think they respond, but I don't think they do enough to get a win. And then last one of the weekend, no Sunday fixtures. Saints at home to Wakefield, which could be a good game.
Could be a good one.
Wakefield notoriously have never travelled well to Saints. Normally works both ways. Saints don't travel well to Wakey. Saints have been, as we know, picking up wins, a joint top of the table with Wakefield.
Yeah.
So again, it's
I'll go Wakey.
It's a bit of I think it's a toss of a coin, this one. But again, like how good is it to be saying that this is a toss of the coin? This could Wakefield winning away at Saints. Like when have fans ever said that?
Yeah.
What I would say is this year has got to be the most open year for games and what's going on. Like when would we have said Wigan are going to get thumped at Warrington? When would we have said OKR is going to be close?
This is what the salary cap does, though, isn't it?
Exactly that. And it's like, we go to NFL, it's the same thing. You can't call fixtures a lot of the time, can you? That's what we want, I suppose. For the better game, that's what we want.
Oh, you can. The New York Giants lose every week.
No, all that.
Yeah.
But I feel there's just something about Saints at the minute. They just seem to keep... I don't think they got out of second gear the other night. And I know Hull weren't up to much, but their fans will be getting that bit of buzz about them at the minute. It's similar to Leeds. But again, I think that they've just been written off and they seem to be getting troops back. They've got the captain back, Matty Leeser's back now. Get a few more bodies back. I think they'll be better for it, having this injury period, but they're sat top of the table. Like Matt Shaw was saying it the other day, he says that almost he doesn't understand how the top of the table, how they're there. They shouldn't be there.
Look at when they went to Toulouse, we were all expecting them to get beat because they had no troops. And...
We know with Wigan now, but Wigan on that Good Friday, they should have never have won that.
No.
I mean, the only one that's made sense is that pasting they got at OKR.
Yeah.
And even that didn't make sense because of how Saints were winning. So maybe Saints are due a loss, but we've said that for the last 3 weeks now. They're probably due a loss. Obviously, the OKR fixture, but then they've responded on the back with a win in the cup, a win in the league, and then another win on Good Friday. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Saints just with home advantage, but I think it'll be a closely fought game.
And I'll go Wakey just to play devil's advocate.
Well, let's see what happens. Another fun-filled week in store. Rugby League merry-go-round continues to surprise us day by day.
We've had the NRL over this week.
We have.
So what do you think to the NRL getting involved?
I don't know. I think it just led us down the garden path of something's happening, but nothing can be said as of yet. I thought Rodri Jones, is it? I thought he spoke well. Obviously, people can speak well. Don't mean to say that good's happening, does it? But yeah, he's obviously been a part of the plan and the RFL set up for a long time. But yeah, obviously Abdo spoke as well, didn't he? Spoke quite fondly about coming over. Says he'll be back over as well. I think something's going to be happening. I just don't know.
I think they will look to put an offer in. I've got a horrible feeling that some of the smaller clubs, Championship and whatnot, will put a spanner in the works.
I think so. But I think, could it be one of them that they are, with the greatest respect, small fry in this case?
But it might be a case of a breakaway of some kind.
Possibly. And possibly something completely, like a different setup.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not completely affiliated with the Super League, but the line what Super League need to go down to make a better elite competition, like Super League's our elite competition over it. Something needs to change, and if it means the NRL coming in and taking over those teams, and it's whether it be 12 teams or it's 14. I know when we had the Huddersfield boys on, they were saying they were concerned for Giants.
Yeah.
I think Cass, should they be concerned? Definitely. I think
Got
they're
the
your two
AstroTurf
teams.
at Castle now.
Well,
Something
yeah,
like
that's a big thing. So they've got AstroTurf. So yeah, hopefully that'll pull some strings. But as we know, facilities mean nothing.
Yes.
It's about what's on the field and how the team and the club are marketed as well. So yeah, I think it's great. I think we've got talking points every week. More and more subscribers each week. So thank you for continuing to subscribe. Shay will be back next week, I'm sure. And we've got another...
Well, it depends what happens at Lee.
Well, it does, yeah. He might go sulking again. He might go sulking and eating a Sunday lunch. So hopefully he's back. Let's hope for a Giants win, and Shay might be on your screens again next week. Thank you again. Thanks, Ricky, for joining.
Cheers, thank you.
And thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Nova Coffee, our sponsor and host for each and every one of our podcasts. And some behind the name episodes will be released this week as well. Thank you. Cheers again.
Cheers.